I got a couple of vintage comic books for you. First one here is Avengers #1. That's what started the movie craze that you know today. And then over here, we've got a giant-size X-Men #1.
Yeah, and what happened with the X-Men is just all the movies. I mean, I think there's been like 7 of them, right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Okay, and the Avengers came out a few years ago, and my 11-year-old son literally told me the Avengers was the greatest movie ever made.
There you go. So I came down to the pawn shop today to sell my Avengers #1 and giant-size X-Men #1 comic books. Yeah, comic books, I think, it's the sense of nostalgia and freedom, a time of innocence, plus all those bright colors. I mean, who could resist that? On the giant-size X-Men one, I'm asking $1,200. On the Avengers one, I'm asking for $4,600. The least I would take is $3,300.
Where did you get these?
Well, this actually came from an original owner collection out in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
This one actually came by way of a trade for some original art.
Okay, cool. And so Stan Lee did the story in this one, right?
Yeah, he formed a lot of the groups, the Fantastic Four, the Avengers. Those were all his ideas.
Yeah, it's comic books are a little weird. People see like the #1 sitting right here, and they'll think it's the first X-Men, but it's not.
That's correct.
Because you'll have like a #1 Amazing Spider-Man, a #1 Spectacular Spider-Man, but this is definitely the first Avengers that ever took place.
That's exactly right. And you know, back to this one too, I mean, that's the new X-Men lineup. Wolverine and a lot of the characters that are known today. The rest, as they say, is history. It's an extremely popular franchise.
Vintage comic books can be worth a lot of money, and these have the vibe of something special. But comic book collecting can be really tricky, so you have to be really careful when you're dealing with stuff like this because you can get burned. And what grade are you calling these?
This one's, I believe, is a fine plus to a very fine, between a 6.5 and a 7.0. It presents in near mint condition. And this one's in the same range, maybe slightly better. I think this is a fine, very fine, maybe a 7.0 to 7.5 right in there.
Okay. How much you want for them?
Well, this one, I'm looking for $4,600.
Okay.
And on the giant size X-Men, $1,200.
All right. You can grade them at one thing, and I can grade them at another thing, and all that means nothing in the real world because you got to have a real grading company grade them. I have a friend that works for CGC.
Okay.
Let me have him grade them because it makes a world of difference what they're graded at.
100% agreed.
Let me go give him a call. I'll get him down here, and he will look at them. Okay?
Sounds great.
All right. Hang out for a little bit.
Right up. Thank you. As far as CGC coming in and checking out my books, I would welcome it because I think it's going to validate the grades that I assign to the books.
Like I said on the phone, Avengers #1.
Wow, man.
And the giant-size X-Men. I know this one's cool, but this one's really cool.
Yeah, Giant Size X-Men 1, 1975, has some of my favorite first appearances. Nightcrawler, Colossus, Storm, some dude named Wolverine, it's his second appearance. Some people have heard of him. But man, in Avengers 1, that's a thing of beauty. This came out in September 1963. Marvel had gone through some tough times, and with Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, they were really starting to have a rebirth with superheroes. And Avengers 1 just took all of these characters that had their own books and brought them all together as a superhero team. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby brought all of their popular characters together because Daredevil 1 was actually supposed to ship that month, but Bill Everett was late on his layouts. So real quick, they concocted the Avengers with their existing characters, boom, put it out, and now it's a billion-dollar franchise.
He wants to sell them to me, and I don't know what the grade's gonna come out. The front of it looks nice, but...
Yeah, the front cover looks beautiful. What I need to do is take them back. I need to count the pages, check for restoration, you know, and then I just count the defects in my head, and, you know, a magic grade spits out my mouth.
That's the science of it?
Yeah. That's the science of it.
Okay, you want me to show you where the conference room's at?
Yeah, sure, that sounds great.
You got it. I'm really excited to find out what these comic books are worth. And I know for a fact they're definitely worth more than anything Chum has.
All right.
So it turns out they're rare misprints and they're worth billions of dollars, right?
Actually, these are really beautiful books.
So, what grade are they?
Let me start with the Giant Size X-Men 1. The colors are great. There are a few imperfections, a couple of creases.
Okay.
I'm thinking it's a 7.5. So that would put it at around $550, $600.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. The Avengers one is beautiful. There's a little bit of chipping up here. But the main issue I felt was the tanning. The cover's pretty tan, the interior pages are a little cream.
Okay.
I probably would land on 6.5. I'm thinking 4,000, 4,200, somewhere around there.
It's a little light, but you know, you're not out of the zip code anyway.
Sorry if he didn't agree with you.
We're close, but I'm looking for 4,600. The color strike on this one in particular.
Okay, he works for CGC. Your opinion don't count.
I'm out of it. I gave you the grades. This is
Okay.
up to you, man.
Thanks, bud.
All right.
Hey, thanks for looking
Take
at
care.
them.
You got it. We have no vested interest in the comic. It doesn't matter to me if Rick buys it or not.
All right, so what's your best price on these?
You know, this one, I don't know if we're gonna get there. I need 900 out of that. I mean, this one, I would do 3,800.
Okay. I think we're way out of the ballpark on that one. So this one's worth around 4,000 bucks. Let me have it for 2,900.
I would like $3,800.
I mean, I'll tell you what. I'll give you 3,200 bucks because if I hold on to it and the next movie does well, I should be able to do well with it. It's more than a fair offer.
Well, I appreciate it, but that leaves open the obvious. Let's meet in the middle at 3,500.
No, it doesn't.
No.
I go 3,200 bucks on it. I mean, that's more than fair. I'm gambling on this next movie being big.
Tell you what, if you come up to 3,300, you got a deal, but I can't go any lower than
No,
that.
3,200 bucks is what I can do. You know, it's anything more just doesn't make sense.
I mean, you're gonna let 100 bucks get in the middle of this deal?
I'm not letting 100 bucks get in the middle of this deal. You are.
I already came down twice. I mean,
I mean, it's the best I could do. It really is. I barely go comfortable at 32, much less 33. So if you do the 32, we got a deal.
all right. Well, I appreciate the offer, but I just can't get there.
Okay.
Thanks so
Have a good
much.
one, man.
Yeah, you too. Thanks a lot.
Change your mind. You know where I'm at.
Okay. I think he could have sold that book at the 4,000 to 4,200 range, and I really don't think it would have been in the shop long. So, yeah, I think he missed one on this deal.